Hey everyone, it is the bonus pod, the bonus pod, the bonus pod. This is where I like to focus in on one or two issues or details that I talk about in the larger Mikey Likes You podcast to give you a little bit further understanding about whatever it is that's going on in that world. A question that I get a lot, and it is justifiable. It is understandable. It is knowing where to draw the line between training hard and training dumb. I encourage most people to train heavy, to train with intensity, to really push themselves, oftentimes to push themselves to failure. There is definitely moments when pushing yourself to failure is super dumb. There are also situations when you, as a human, just aren't ready yet to go there. You may not even have the skill to get there, or the understanding of what that is. So I wanted to narrow down the margin of just exactly how hard you should be training and to give you some tips on how to do it safely, because there is a very thin margin between being a pussy and then being an idiot. So here's the first thing I will say. The deadlift and the squat, and then the non-spotted bench press, barbell bench press. If you don't have a spotter, the bench press is not something that I would want to see people pushing to muscular failure for a very obvious reason. True muscular failure means you cannot move the bar anymore. You're pushing, no matter how hard you push, no matter how slow it's going, you can't go anymore. That's a very bad thing to do if you don't have someone to then help you get it back up to rack it, because it's just going to fall back on your chest. So if you have a spotter workout partner, go ahead. It's a relatively safe exercise to do failure as long as you have worked on the skill of executing the bench press properly. But if you don't have a spotter, opt for the dumbbell bench press. I actually prefer a slight decline dumbbell bench press for a couple of reasons. If I'm going to push it to failure, I like to have that slight decline to keep my shoulders in a little bit healthier position. And what this affords you is the ability to really push it to the point that you just can't go anymore. And when you reach that point, you just drop the fucking dumbbells. One caveat, obviously, make sure your surroundings are clear of people and iPhones and things of that nature, because when you drop those dumbbells, it can crush things. People's feet, your phone, your keys, the alarm on your keys. I've done that. Whatever it may be. So just have, find that 3 or 4 foot radius around you to make sure that there's nothing there for you to potentially crush and drop. But I actually have a video here of me performing that exercise to within a rep of muscular failure, to complete muscular failure. And it's, again, I highly recommend this, especially for people who don't have a spotter. This is a way around it.
He's gonna drop it.
I encourage people to go balls to the wall. I encourage people to really explore going harder every time. But if you get to a point in your squat where in order to get another rep, you have to fudge your form, that's it. That's failure. There's form failure and then there is muscular failure. If form failure comes before muscular failure in your squats or your deadlifts, you're done. That is the absolute end of your set. Almost all other exercises, go ahead and give yourself mechanical assistance to get farther and deeper. Cheating barbell curls, awesome. Cheating curls of any nature. Cheating shoulder presses even. A lot of people, this is certainly a dangerous exercise, the overhead press. But what I like to do, give myself a mechanical drop set. I will do failure in the strict overhead press. When I can no longer press with just my shoulders, I'll start doing push presses, and then I'll do that to failure. Using momentum, using a little bit of body English to get a couple more reps in order to further fatigue your muscles, a great idea in all exercises except deadlifts and squats. I will repeat an old adage that gets thrown around, but it's really true. Squatting and deadlifting with perfect form is injury proof. The only reason injuries happen is because of body imbalances or bad form or both. A lot of times it's a chicken and egg argument. A lot of times the body imbalance leads to the bad form. Who cares? Doing it perfectly, doing a deadlift and a squat perfectly is not going to hurt you, no matter how heavy you go. The problem is that either you go too heavy or you go too many reps to the point that you can't do it with good form anymore. And that cannot happen in those two exercises. It totally can happen in all others. Here's a demonstration of what I do to get around the fact that I don't like to necessarily go to failure with the squat. Here is a plate-loaded hack squat. Okay, so now with the deadlift, you have a couple options. I definitely like to see people go heavy and go hard with barbell rows. The bent over barbell row does put your lower back in a pretty odd position. So I wouldn't start fucking with muscular failure and going to failure and using body English and momentum to then further your set with the bent over row. What I would do is use a cable row or a chest supported T-bar row. These are great exercises to, again, you kind of hit with strict form muscular failure. So then you do 3 or 4 more reps with a little bit of movement, to get them up there. And it just gives it that extra benefit. And that's when you'll hit true muscular failure, when no matter what you do, you can't move the bar. Here I'm doing a neutral grip cable row. And as you can see, I will continue to go until my form does change a little bit, but then I get a little bit of momentum involved. I can do a couple more reps. Then I get to the point where I can't move it. No, even if I'm cheating like crazy. So check it out. Here's a little video of me doing cable bicep curls where I cheat like a motherfucker. Really focusing on squeezing and using the biceps to contract the muscle, exclusively my biceps. I get very quickly to the point that I can't do that anymore, and I start to really use my hips and my movement, but I'm still contracting the biceps. And they're already pre-fatigued from those perfect form reps. This is where you start to really allow yourself the ability to push further and get stronger in all those things and to really dig deep into those cells. It is not, getting to the point where you're wiggling and you're hunching over and you have hip shift in a squat. That's not where you're doing that. The squat and the deadlift really are about building the ability to stay stable throughout the range of motion. The amount of resistance is really what matters. And whatever that is for you is all that's important. So don't worry about the actual weight as a number. Worry about what that weight represents as far as tension you're able to create with it and being able to maintain stability throughout the entire range of the motion of that exercise. If you have to fall short of complete muscular failure, that's fine, because really that's not the benefit of those exercises. Again, it's the ability to head to toe create stability throughout the entire range of motion. And the better you are at doing that, the more weight you will be able to use and the more injury proof you actually become, as opposed to the more injury prone. So there you go. My breakdown of what you can and can't do when it comes to really pushing to muscular failure. I love you. Thank you.